What's the birthstone for those born in March? Most people are quick to answer aquamarine. They're right, but they might not know that March has a second birthstone. That's the one we're going to learn 6 interesting facts about in today's video, hence the video's title. But first, if you're new, I want to give you a warm welcome to my channel. I hope this video makes a good impression on you of what I have to offer here at A World of Spirituality. If it does, subscribe to my channel and click the bell that'll give you the notifications you want. With that out of the way, time to begin with our first fact about Bloodstone, which is that Bloodstone is the more common name for what's officially known as heliotrope. The gem we're talking about today is commonly referred to as Bloodstone. This is because it's basically green jasper with inclusions of red hematite that give it a blood red color. But its official name for its mineral aggregate is heliotrope. That name comes from the Greek words helios, which means sun, and trepain, which means to turn. For fact number 2, we're going to learn about a common nickname for Bloodstone. The term Stone of Babylon was coined by none other than Albert the Great as a reference to the many magical attributes ancient Babylonians believed it had. These include invisibility, the ability to cause solar eclipses, and many more that I'll discuss in more detail when we get to number 5. But let's just say that at one point in history, Bloodstone started to be called Christ's Stone. And that's another thing I'll talk more about in fact 5. But for now, we're going to get into fact number 3, which is that Bloodstone's largest deposits are in India. Of course, India isn't the only country where Bloodstone deposits can be found. They're all around the world, but they're mostly found in the US, Brazil, Australia, China, and Madagascar. And as is the point of this section, India. Within each of these countries, Bloodstone is most likely to be found in the parts with the most volcanic or metamorphic activity, since these geological processes are most ideal for the formation of Bloodstone. The Indian city of Bombay, Gujarat, is particularly renowned for its Bloodstone deposits. There's even a special type of bloodstone called Indian bloodstone, which is distinguished from classic bloodstone by an intense green color and highly contrasting red spots. Number 4. The most common use of bloodstone is for signet rings. Like other gemstones, bloodstone's been used for all kinds of jewelry: necklaces, earrings, rings, bracelets, and more. But of all these things, the most popular to make with bloodstone is a signet ring. What's a signet ring, you may ask? Well, it's a special ring whose purpose is to mark someone as nobility or as a member of the ruling class. Signet rings were originally adorned with the family crest, which would leave a permanent outline in soft wax or clay, and the owner usually used it to make signatures. When the owner of a signet ring died, the ring was destroyed to prevent any manner of forgery. In our next section, we're going to get at least a partial answer to the question, why bloodstone? Now, the moment you've been waiting for, at least since the end of fact 2, the part where I explain some common ancient beliefs about bloodstone. Many ancient peoples believed that bloodstones had properties that could keep them in good health, specifically when it came to bleeding and blood disorders, and could also give them powers of clairvoyance. Anyone who actually believes this in the era of New Age spirituality would say that bloodstone doesn't so much give you psychic powers as it drives away vagueness and confusion and helps you think more clearly. The aforementioned medicinal beliefs actually make some sense when you consider that powdered bloodstone has been used to make traditional medicines, including aphrodisiacs, in India. which, in case you already forgot fact 3, is the country with the most bloodstone deposits. Warriors used to carry bloodstone amulets with them to help stop the bleeding from their wounds and protect them from what they called the evil eye. Many first-century magicians believed that bloodstone could turn them invisible, including Albert the Great, who, as I mentioned in the first fact, called it the Stone of Babylon. In the 4th century, many people believed bloodstones could cause solar eclipses, lightning, thunderstorms, and even turn the sun red. Christian folklore around the bloodstone claims that it formed when Jesus bled onto some jasper at the foot of the cross after being nailed to it. This is why a Christian might believe bloodstone has special powers, such as the ones I've already mentioned. A less commonly used nickname of bloodstone, the martyr's stone, is a reference to medieval Christians carving scenes of executions of early Christian martyrs into bloodstone. And for fact number 6, we're going to talk about bloodstone being one of the 2 options for the March birthstone. If anyone actually believes any of the stuff I mentioned in the previous section, they would say these effects go double for those born in the month of March, since bloodstone is one of the 2 birthstones of those born in that month. Remember how I said earlier that bloodstone is so often used in signet rings, a marker of the nobility and ruling class in so many cultures? Well, how much more fitting could it be that it be the gem of those born in the month that, at least in the northern hemisphere, comes in with the majestic lion of winter and goes out with the gentle lamb of spring? Especially for those born in the latter part of March, with the sun in the sign of Aries, who naturally have the determination and fervor of kings and queens. Technically, those born in March can have both aquamarine and bloodstone as their birthstone if they like both. But for those who choose one or the other, those who want the more commercially successful option will go with aquamarine, and those who want the one that's attracted more fascination and has more dazzling folklore behind it, bloodstone. If your birthday's in March, what was the most interesting thing you learned about one of your birthstones today? If it's not, and you just thought this stone would be worth learning about, did I prove you right? Answer the question that it applies to you in the comments below. Gemstones and their spiritual implications are just one thing I make content about here at A World of Spirituality. Most recently, I discussed a whole nother one, which I've linked right here. I've also linked a similar video to this one I've made about the September birthstone. If you loved this video and want to see more new ones, these links should hold you over until more goes up.